Okay, you're live.
Thank you very much. Hi guys, I hope you're all really well. Welcome to this live. My name is Leslie Jennison. I am your Global Ambassador for Schwarzkopf Professional. I'm going to recreate this really cute kind of creative toning colouring system. I've used entirely the Blonde Me range. This was really inspired by the look that we created, Geraldine and I created for the All About That Base campaign. And before I start this, I'd love to just show you. Can we have a look at the before and after of the model, Rachel? Wonderful. So this is going to be exactly the same colour. Geraldine did this with, I think it was about 6 or 7 colours. Maybe if Geraldine's watching, she can just let us know. Gorgeous, gorgeous technique. I'm going to go into how we created that beautiful, amazing base. But first of all, I want to go in and show you how to do this. This is only 3 colours, and I'm going to come up close. I'm hoping that you can kind of see that it looks like more than 3 colours, just the way that we've kind of layered up these tones. So let's have a go at this technique. Just before I start, let me show you on a dummy head. Now, I hope that makes sense. So underneath, we're going to have colour 1. 3 colours, a dark, a medium, and a light. The darkest colour is underneath. Then that next section up is the darkest colour on the roots, and then the medium colour on the lengths, and then at the top it's a medium colour on the roots and the lightest on the ends, and then just to create that cute little face frame, we've got colour 3 just on the face frame. So what I'm going to do is section this way. Now if you have a look here, you can see that I've got 1, 2, 3 rows. But for me to section that all up straight away is a little confusing and there's too many clips. So I wanted to show you how I would do it in a salon. This is a technique, I'm saying I'm working with strawberries and nougats and beautiful tones, but this works evenly as beautiful with, whether you're working with vibrance, whether it's a demi colour over your beautiful bases, or even if you're doing Agora Royal. So I'm going to start by showing you exactly the colours that I've got gloves on. Hold on, there we go. So these are the colours that I've used on the first finished side. So you can see I've used nougat and strawberry. Underneath is my darkest colour, strawberry as my middle colour, and then icerise as my lightest colour. I'm going to go into the reasons that I've used the deep toner, because if you talk about deep toners in a technical way, you don't necessarily use them in a toning way, because they're really not made for toning. They're actually made for softening sort of any roots, particularly if you're doing like a balayage and your root or mid area is quite golden, or you're just trying to touch down or neutralize or kind of drop down the roots, not over pre-lightened hair. But we can definitely use this deep tone in a creative way. I'm using it with nougat. Nougat is kind of like, if you imagine a depth 6 with beige and chocolate. Now, you can imagine if you use that by itself over pre-lightened hair, it's going to go very, very dark. But when you're adding it with that much strawberry, which has no depth whatsoever, that's kind of diluting it. And then you've got the strawberry, which is like a depth, a tone of a violet and a red and a tiny bit of copper, and it really softens the whole thing. I'm just going to actually show you the colour underneath, because for me, it's like that gorgeous kind of smoky raspberry colour. It's really, I love it. Now, what I'm doing on this side, I thought I'd give you a different sort of variation on this side. So I'm going to work with 2 parts of nougat to 1 part of strawberry. So on this side, it's equal parts. And I wanted to show you 2 parts of nougat to 1 part, so you can really see the difference. Now, I'm back in the UK, so it's already 8 p.m. here. So what I will do is when it's finished, I will wash it all off, but I will show it on my stories and tag Behind the Chair. Thank you, Behind the Chair, for having me, by the way, so that you can see the results. And I think that's kind of lovely to, you know, see as many different variations as possible. I don't really even need this foil underneath, to be honest. I'm just, I'm doing that. I would do it in salon because obviously I'm trying to protect the client's nape and neck. But really the main reason I've used these today is because why would you not use these foils? Aren't they? I mean, they're divine. Created by the lovely Maggie with Framar. And if you want them, we still have them until the end of June or the end of July. So this technique was created, or the sort of original version of this was created for the All About the Base campaign, which we shot back in May, beginning of May, in Phoenix. So I came over to Phoenix, met up with the rest of the team. Now, if I'm doing black, red and white, I would need to put foils underneath. I really don't need to do that. Okay, but I'm not going to. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the first colour. Now I'm going to move to another comb. For this colour, I have 3 bowls, 3 brushes, and 3 combs. Now I've done this first section. That's that section. I'm now going to go to this section. Now you can see I got a little bit excited and I've forgotten the story. So I'm going to go back to talking about what we did for the All About the Base. This was a campaign, this is a campaign that is really kind of celebrating about creating that perfect base. And when you get the perfect base with Blonde Me, whether it's Blonde Me with 2%, 13 vol, or whether it's Blonde Me with 6%, which is 10 vol, you can create anything. If you've got a beautiful, clean, even base, it means that anything that you do on top will not only look stunning, but the creativeness of it allows you that limitless kind of creativity, yeah. But also the longevity of anything you do over a perfect base will last for so much longer. So now I'm on that middle section. Let me show you again. That is this section here. I'm going to work with colour 1 again on the roots. And remember, that is, for me, 2 parts of the nougat and 1 part of strawberry. So I'm changing it up from the other side. If you've just joined us, we are doing a creative toning technique using just Blonde Me toners, and a way to really create a kind of depth and shadow and shade with Blonde Me is to mix up with the deep toners. As I've said, deep toners are not necessarily, well, they definitely haven't been made to be used over pre-lightened hair, because obviously they have depth in them. The lightest, which is milk chocolate, is a depth of a 7. And they're all quite coolish. Nougat has the most amount of warmth, I would say, because it's a -4-6, or in colouring terms, that's a beige chocolate. But you wouldn't use them by themselves. But as soon as you add any of those gorgeous pastel tones, you can create some incredible colours that have a little bit more depth. So you can see I'm just doing the roots here, and I'm dragging it down quite deep. I'm not being too, what's the word? I'm not being prissy. I'm not being, you know, it's got to be very, very sharp and tight and clean. Really doesn't need that. In fact, it's better if it's not. It's just another way to help you blend those colours through. I must say, guys, if you know me at all, you will know that I love a little bit of audience participation. So if you have any questions at all, please tap in and let us know. And Rachel's going to shout out. Yeah, cool. Now I'm going to go on with my colour 2. You can see that this very deep zigzag section really helps to create, just in case you missed the beginning, really helps to create this kind of shadow and depth and that kind of playfulness to the technique. Super, super easy. Super quick as well, which is perfect, obviously, when we're with our clients. So now I'm going to go to colour 2, which on the other side was strawberry by itself with 2%. Always when I'm toning, I'm going to use strawberry with, or anything, I'm going to use just 2%. Here I'm using icerise and strawberry together, just to give you a different look. And at this case, you know, here I'm now going to just start pushing that in. I've taken the darker colour further than I want it, and then I push the lighter colour on top. Now we are running a really cool competition, and I really urge you to enter it. So, I mean, it's incredible. You can win up to $3,000 of Blondie products for your salon for the year. It's super, super easy to enter. You just, in fact, all the details are going to be on. Let me just wipe my hands very quickly, because I just think this is, I have to say this a couple of times because I just think it's so cool. You can go straight onto behind the chair and just click in all about that base. But it's super easy. You just need to share a post with, you know, on your Instagram, on your actual feed, showing how you use Blonde Me. You need to show a before, and then the raw lift, and then the finished results. Now, I wonder, Rachel, while I'm just putting this on, can we show everybody? Because we started, in fact, I'm going to show you here how we started with a level 6 on the actual model. I hope that's not got too much light reflection. There we go. So that's how we started. And then we used Blonde Me with literally 13 bowl, nothing else. And we created this perfect even base. I'm going to ask Rachel just to show us the video. Now that is literally, one sec. Oh, that is literally the model finished without any toner, nothing, literally nothing. She was shampooed and conditioned and cut and now ready for Geraldine to do the toning system. That, ladies and gentlemen, is section 2.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
Ah, I don't know why I can hear something.
One can't know everything, can one?
Rachel, can you hear?
I think that's Siri on your phone.
I don't have Siri on my phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What? Sorry, I'm really sorry, guys. Unless I've suddenly managed to get Siri, because I've never been able to get Siri before. Hey ho. Sorry about that. I hope that's finished. Okay, so live TV, huh? So we've done this, and now we're going on to this. So now I've finished with colour 1. I can let that go. I've used colour 1 and colour 2, the darkest and the medium here. I'm now going to use just the medium and the lightest on this top area. Now, I just want to see, I'm hoping that the camera will really pick this up, because I have this kind of technique where I kind of overlay colours that makes it look like you've done more than the 3 colours. So if you can see that this lighter colour looks a little bit more toned than the icerise on the front. And I want to show you how I did that. Super, super easy, and works really well when you're working with Blonde Me because of the kind of viscosity of Blonde Me. Now, let's get this. So this one, again, I'm just leaving it purely on top. There's no need to put foils in between. Another thing I love, oh gosh, I just love a process with Blonde Me. Look at that, if I say so myself. Okay, so let's get on to this. So we're going to start with the second colour. And are there any questions at all?
No questions at the moment.
Oh, that's wonderful. Hopefully I'm just explaining it so well.
I think you are.
Okay. when I've got this on, I've kind of wanted time so that I could show you how these deep toners can be used and mixed up. So I've literally allowed myself enough time to give you as much information as I possibly can. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking colour 2, the middle colour that you've seen here. On the other side, that was pure strawberry. Now I'm taking that all the way through. I'm putting more colour on the roots so that I get full saturation. I'm going to see if I can come a little bit closer to show you. There we go. Is that right? No, that's it. Okay, so let me pick that up again. Oh gosh. Oh golly. Okay. So this is my little tip, is that I put plenty of colour here. And then with the rest of the colour on my brush, I just brush it through. So there's hardly any colour, but there's a little bit of that strawberry lilac tone going on. I carry on. For me, this hair is very slightly damp because I'm imagining that I've just pre-lightened the hair. I would say normally I would work on slightly damp hair. If it's slightly damp or damp, then I want to make sure that it's evenly damp. So there you go. I've got all those roots, they're fully covered, and then I'm just going to take the rest of that colour through. So you get hardly anything there, and I'm actually going to go back over with the icerise on that. And that creates a kind of fourth colour for us. I have to say that the All About the Base campaign was, without a doubt, in all the years I've done any shooting, one of the most fun shoots ever. I mean, it was in the US, which is always an absolute joy to come to. And I hadn't been to the US for a few years because, of course, pandemic and everything. So that was just joyous. Then we had the most incredible team. Of course, all of them you will know really well, headed up by Maggie and Lynn, Be Seen. And I just want to, just in case any of you out there haven't followed the others, myself, Danilo, Maggie and Lynn were teamed up with our team. There we go. That's, oh gosh. Okay, let's just, is that good, Rachel? Is that okay?
Yeah, you can read it.
You can see it. Okay, so I was teamed up with Geraldine, Maggie with Abigail, Lynn with Jackie, and then Danilo with Linson. Ah, gosh, there we go. And we all had our own kind of technique to come up with and to create. And Geraldine and I were to do this kind of creative toning. Maggie and Abigail had platinum blonde to do. Lynn and Full Metal Jackson had corrective colour. And then Danilo and Linson had balayage. Stunning looks. I'm going to just, I have to show you this because this is how those girls started off. And you can see ours is the second one from the front. If you haven't seen the finished looks, please go into to either behind the chair or to the relative people and have a look, because it was really, really cool. The difference in the looks that we created were just amazing. So now I've finished with that section and I'm just going to pick it back up. And I'm going to go back over with my lightest colour, which I'm going to be applying just here. Now this is Ice. With a little icerise. When you want to create this really pale strawberry, you do need to work on this clean level 10. If you have that sort of paler yellow, strawberry still looks beautiful, but it looks a little bit more corally rather than that beautiful kind of powder puff strawberry. So if you do want that and you haven't got a level 10, then I would always just pre-tone, which is always a good idea anyway, because it's like you're sort of filling up the hair. It's like a polyfiller. And I would normally go in with something like either Icerise with a little ice and some mask. So you do equal parts Icerise, ice and Blonde Me mask, and you apply it all over. Get that very clean level 10, which is what you would have here, and then go back in, rinse that off, and then go back in and do your technique with your desired colours. So now I'm left with the front section, which is my frame. Base framing has been around for a number of years now, but it's not really going anywhere because it really suits everybody. You know, whether it's reverse base framing and you wanted to do a pink or a lilac or something really, really strong. In our original brand image, we went in with a yellow, so you got that really kind of kick of a little bit of pop against the face. Now what I'm going to do is paint my lightest colour. Let me just get that, missed a tiny little bit there. Now what I'm going to do is paint in with my lightest colour from roots to ends. Once I've done that, I'm then going to take a clean brush and literally just tap, 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 tap with the second colour, with the medium colour, just to create that slight shadow. But again, that would give me less of an intensity of colour than this. So again, it's another way of playing up to create another colour. So it's almost like you're looking like you've got 5 colours just by using 3 colours and the way that you layer up these colours.
So we did have a question from someone just joining, wondering what we're learning today.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you for asking. I have come on here to recreate this look here. So let me just come round. I'll just take my glove off for a moment. This is a creative toning technique that can be used very, very easily. It's a very quick, simple, creative technique that we can use on our clients at any time. This is toning over a clean, even base, and this is all about our campaign, all about that base with Blonde Me. What I've done is I've done a sort of 3-tier colour technique. So all the underneath is colour 1. There's 3 colours here, and colour 1 is the darkest colour, colour 2 is medium, colour 3 is light. So really you can do this with any colours in the entire portfolio. I'm choosing Blonde Me because this is all about that base campaign. My darkest colour, let me show you on this. My darkest colour on this finished side is Nougat and Strawberry, equal parts of Nougat and Strawberry. Now I'm going to talk about Nougat because Nougat is not a colour that you would necessarily use as a toner by itself because it's not made to be a toner. It's made to, oh, there you go. It's made to be used primarily, it was created for when we do balayage and we get those little goldeny bits, or we want to tone down and neutralise anything through the roots. That's really what it was made for. However, once we've started kind of playing with it, you know, hairdressers love to kind of play, and whether it's made to be used one way, this is how we love to use it. It's just the most perfect way to create depth when you're using Blonde Me toners, because of course all the toners within Blonde Me have no depth whatsoever. One looks lighter than the other purely because of the tonal colouring that's in it. So for instance, you know, still blue will look darker than Icerise because it's got more ash in it, and to the eye, you know, we all know that every time we open our eyes, our brain recognises thousands and thousands of colours and depths and tones, and yellow being the first colour the brain recognises, and then blue, green and purple's right down the bottom. So subconsciously, if I have icerise against steel blue, you see icerise first. It's nanoseconds, but you see that. So that's why we love to play with these sort of darker colours through here, because it creates a beautiful kind of profile when you're working with darker colours against the neck. Right, I hope that I've explained what I'm doing. Great question. Thank you so much for making me remind everybody what we're doing. So now what I'm doing is I've come to the frame and I'm working just on this section here. So this is colour 3, that's the lightest colour. On the other side, that was pure icerise. Here I'm using ice and icerise. And I'm working straight onto the scalp. Now, I could leave it that it's just the scalp to the ends and have something that's very, very strong. I mean, I love that look. I love anything that's really, really strong anyway, but I think it's slightly softer and it's slightly more commercial, just to tap in this colour here, the middle colour, just to give that slight rootage feel. So let me go through. And colour through. So guys, I was talking about the competition with all about that base. So what you need to do is to enter, sharing a post of you using Blonde Me. You need to have the before, the during, so that kind of really raw lift before you put any toners on, and then the finished colour. And then you need to tag Schwarzkopf USA and all about that base and Schwarzkopf Pro. And as I said before, there's going to be 4 winners. Gosh, let me just remember. There are 4 winners that will win not only $3,000 of Blonde Me products for the year for yourself, or, for your salon, or, if you work by yourself, but also you get an hour's one-to-one with either myself or Lynn or Maggie or Danilo. That's your choice. Now, I do find that the thing that I'd love to say about the toners, Blonde Me or Vibrance, particularly Blonde Me, that's what I'm talking about, is that I always mix up exactly what I want to see by leaving it on for the full time. So by that, I mean, if I want to see icerise, I mix up icerise and I leave it the full 20 minutes. If I feel I want to see something that's slightly less than icerise, then I mix up icerise and ice and leave it 20 minutes. If I want something that's even softer than ice, then I mix ice with Blonde Me mask and I still leave it for 20 minutes. I don't, personally, this is what I do, I don't put it on, watch it and leave it on for sort of 5 minutes, because for me, what happens with that is, yes, you're getting the colour that you want, but you're not going to have any longevity of tone. That really won't last very long at all. Whereas if you can mix up in the bowl something that needs to stay on for the 20 minutes, you will have much better longevity. And something...
So we did, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So we did have a question wondering if you would recommend separating your colors with any foils or cling wrap.
That's such a good question. Yeah, because I mentioned earlier that truly with this technique, because I'm working with beautiful sort of muted tones and they all work really well with each other, if they touch each other, it doesn't really matter with this. So I'm not using any foil at all. You'll see that I've used one foil underneath here. And to be honest, I didn't even need to use that. I just wanted to get one of these amazing foils in because Maggie created this with Framar, and I just think they're so incredible. And, they are part of the All About That Base campaign. In a salon, I wouldn't use a foil. I would only use a foil to kind of protect the nape and the neck area. Here, if I had that hair that was going to... No, right, I'm really one of those clean freaks, but I'm going to make it messy for you to show you what if I had that hair that was going to just drop down like that, then I would put a foil underneath. So in fact, let me just put a foil underneath so you can see. Otherwise, I would let that sit open. The only time that I would, whoops, just ripped a hole, excuse me. Okay, the only time where I would really put foils in between all the sections is if I were working with a very, very dark, a bright, and a very, very light. You know, whether it's black, red, and blonde. Not that I necessarily would do that, but you know, if you're working with extremes, then I would. Or if I was working with a real tonal palette where I was working from a chocolate to a violet to a copper, you know, where tones really wouldn't mix and match together. But something like this would work really well. And for me, I always want to try and think of a way that kind of speeds things up as well. Thank you for that question. So that area there is as saturated as the other. It's obviously, it just hasn't grabbed as much. So now what I'm going to do with the second colour, the medium colour, in this case, strawberry and lilac, I'm just going to tap, tap, tap. Do I have that close enough? Can you see? Is it okay? I think so. Now, rather than me doing the roots and then the lengths, I'm creating a real smudged, muted, rooty feel because you've already got a little bit of that coverage already. And also that will look a little bit lighter than the colour through here. So again, it's just a way of creating lots of different colours by using only 3 colours. Right. Now, the way that we created the perfect kind of really seamless base was to use, even on that level 6 model that we had, was to use the Blond Me only with 2%. And I think that's quite a unique, well, not quite, because unique is either unique or can't have quite unique, but so it's a unique thing. I mean, I'm very, very proud to be affiliated with Schwarzkopf Professional. I mean, I know that I'm not necessarily talking about brands and everything, but I am very proud, very, very proud that they're constantly looking at new technologies. And, you know, for it to be the very first lightener to have the integrated fibre, bond enforcing technology really means that we can get those lifts, like 9 levels of lift. I mean, with 2%, it was just incredible. And what was wonderful, the whole idea was to show...
Here's what I found.
I'm sorry. Was to show our team, who hadn't necessarily known Blond Me very well, to sort of see the magic that you can create. And I remember Geraldine's just incredible surprise that we used only 2%, and the fact that it was so clean and so perfect. So I just want to show you very briefly. So this is the amount of foils that we used. Our model's hair was deceptively thick, but I think that shows, you know, we literally did the back section, then the front section, and then went straight back in and did the roots on the back, allowed the front area to lift up a bit, and then went in with the roots at the front. If you want, if you have time later, if you go onto my Instagram, if you go, that's the top of it. If you go to this one down here, it's 11 posts down. You can see the actual process of the foils going in, at what time we did the back, at what time we did the front, etc. So if you have time to do that. Now, I just want to run into Blond Me. Like I said, we have this system that is named. And the reason that we have it named is that we wanted to create this whole world dedicated to the emotion of blonde hair. So there are no numbering systems, but I wanted just to show you the numbering systems that we have, because if you look at strawberry is quite deceptive because you imagine it to be more of a dash violet red, so a dash 98, but in fact it's not. That's it's a dash 897, which is why out of all of them, that's the one that you really need to be on a very, very clean 10 base. Now I want to show you this. This is the Blondie deep toning. Oh gosh, geez, there we go. Oh, that's a little bit wonky. Gosh, sorry guys. There we go. So we have 4. Deep chocolate and nougat are the 2 that I would recommend to mix in with the other pastel toners. They are really, really gorgeous to work with. Granite is stunning. Deep chestnut is stunning, but my humble opinion is that I would only use them the way that they were made to be used. Otherwise, you can imagine if you use 5-12 on pre-lightened hair, that -12 really sinks, really sinks, and you get that kind of bluish color. And the chestnut, which is at 5-63, that 3, which is that green, green, unless you want that, is very, very strong. I've had really good fun. I don't know if there's any more questions, and I cannot believe, when I do these lives, I never believe how quickly the time goes. But I just want to recap on everything that we've done. So this has been all about that base campaign that we did back in Phoenix back in May, and it was about 4 teams. Myself with Geraldine doing a creative technique. This is similar to the technique. It's kind of simplified down. Geraldine's was sort of 6 or 7 colours, gorgeous, with this bright sort of daffodil yellow at the front, really, really gorgeous. You've seen that one, so I wanted to do a different colour palette for you. This is only 3 colours, layering up the colours, putting one colour on top of another to create a 4th and a 5th looking colours, but they're not, they're actually just layering up. All About That Base is really a campaign just to show people how easy it is to do any technique, whether it's a platinum blonde, whether it's perfect balayage, whether it's correcting colour, or whether it's something like this, which is about creative colour. If you have that perfect base, you can literally do anything on top. You don't have that stress of thinking, I've got to the porosity's got to be changed in this area. It's literally a perfect base. Guys, I hope that you will join in with the competition. And let me show you again. Go on to behind the chair, and if you put in hashtag all about that base, you'll get all the details. But basically it's about you posting on your feed, on your IG feed, how you love to use Blondie. You need to have a before image, the raw lightened image, and then whatever colour that you're going to put on top. Whether it's an all over colour, whether it's balayage, or whatever you want to do. Post it and then put the hashtags of Schwarzkopf Pro, Schwarzkopf USA, and hashtag all about that base, and be up for winning. 4 of you will win $3,000 of products from Blondie for you in your salon, and also an hour's one-to-one with either myself or Maggie or Lynn or Danilo. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been amazing. Are there any other questions? Can I answer anything?
Yeah, we had a few more questions. I can give you one. Do you ever struggle with toning result and porosity of hair?
No, I would say a really good question. One thing that we did a whole sort of set of videos while we were out there I did them outside of the Fan House salon, which was beautiful, I have to say, absolutely stunning salon. And I did this sort of series of how to pre-lighten, quick ways, hacks, tricks, tips on how to create bases, whether it's an all over color, how to avoid having your lightener turning to liquid and coming out. Porosity is a massive thing, because wherever you are in the globe, we all have the same problem. We have either hair that's been sensitized, we have hair that, you know, some areas have minerals in the water. I would always say that if I'm doing a pre-lightening system, whether it's the first or 10th or 20th time, I would normally like to do the Blondie Detox, which is, you know, it's a genius product. It's been out for a few years now. And basically, if you think of exfoliator, so a beautiful kind of exfoliator on for your face, it's not exfoliator, but I mean, if you think of that, hold on, there we go. That's what it looks like. It comes in a box and there's sachets, and you mix one sachet with 25 grams of the detox mask, and you shampoo with the detox shampoo. You put it on, and you can literally see it's 10 to 20 minutes. It is so worth doing that pre-treatment. Even if you feel that time-wise you haven't got the time, it would be better for that client to come back and do it another time, because it saves so much hassle and stress and, you know, oh my God, how's it going to look? When you've done that, it literally takes any kind of minerals, any build-up of anything, and you can really then see what you're dealing with. And it's great on the hair. The condition of the hair afterwards is amazing. Regards kind of porosity, of course, if you've got a client who's come in and been somewhere else and there's sort of bands of colour, then I have to do like a corrective technique, and I kind of book out either half a day or a full day, and, you know, I will go through and do every single, you know, I will book out a day, and I will take the back section, and I will do the whole of the back in the little spots that need doing, and I forget about the front. I literally forget about the front, and I wait until the back section is totally finished, wash it off, put a treatment on, and then I come to the front and I do the same. When I'm doing something like that, I've normally done a really kind of in-depth consultation, and it means that I do kind of try to slip in a couple of clients in between while I'm waiting for this side to process. I might put in a little balayage or a little tints or something. And then I do the front, and then I make sure that I have that clean, even base. And whether it means that that client is in my chair for 8 hours, and it will obviously cost something, but I found that whenever you've done that, I've then got that client. I've had these clients now for years, because, you know, you've put that time and energy and passion and dedication into it. And, you know, I think it's very obvious. I mean, that's one thing that's really happened from the pandemic, is people have really, clients, not hairdressers, clients have really understood that we have talent. We are, you know, our industry, we have a craft. We are crafts people, and we really know our stuff. And for me, that's one amazing, beautiful thing that's come out of the pandemic. I hope that I've answered that and not gone off on a tangent.
No, yeah, thank you so much for coming on today. I think you answered that perfectly.
Perfect. Any other questions at all?
There was a few. Do you want to answer them now, or would you prefer to go back in Facebook later and answer them?
I will do that. I will go onto Facebook. Please, guys, if you have any questions, please just put them in the comments. I just realized what the time is. How super. It's amazing. And please, you know, have a look at the post that I mentioned, because I really want you to be able to see how easy it is to get a clean, perfect base every single time. I have had an amazing time doing this. It seems to have flown by, as always. I look forward to looking at your comments, and I will message everybody back. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.